YOLO, with the government shutdown that we've been having recently, it's got me thinking, what are some ways that we could fundamentally fix Congress, the Senate, and just kind of clean up the entire governmental bloat and bureaucrat operation altogether? And I've come up with a couple of different ideas, and I'll share them here, and I'm hoping that you guys will let me know in the comments below what you think of these ideas, or if you have other ideas that would be better than what I've got. Now, this first idea is not an original idea of mine, but it's a complete ripoff of the Oracle of Omaha himself. So I'll go ahead and let him explain it now.
Deficit in 5 minutes. You just pass a law that says that anytime there's a deficit of more than 3% of GDP, all sitting members of Congress are ineligible for re-election. Yeah. Now you've got the incentives in the right place, right?
It's not exactly rocket science. And I'm a firm believer in the thought process that if I show you the incentives, you'll show me the desired outcome. The carrot and the stick method. Currently, the way the system is set up, there's not really any major incentive for our representatives to represent us to the best interests of themselves. Not when they have things like lobbying going on from major companies. That's where they get their funding from, their campaign donations, which is totally not bribery or backroom deals or, secret meetings where they promise you a job on the advisory board of X company if you go and vote in favor of their company during your time in the Senate. Now, another thing that we really need to fix, or at least have a much more brutal punishment for, is insider trading. I'm sure everyone's seen the videos of people sitting on the floor listening to the bills being proposed, and then right before something's going to be voted on, you can see your congressmen or women on their phone buying the stock moments before the bill is signed. They make tons of money, to the point where Nancy Pelosi is one of the most historical stock traders in all of human history. And a guy built an AI bot to track her trades and copy them, and that guy got flagged for insider trading because of how well he was doing. Now, there are currently rules against insider trading, but they are very loose, lenient, and they don't really have any bite to them. Slaps on the wrist, if anything. What I am proposing is something much more drastic. Immediate public execution for anyone who is found insider trading. The higher up you are in authority in government, the less freedom you should have, because you need to be held to a much higher standard than everyone else. If some guy working at a company does insider trading, he should get the slap on the wrist or jail time. But if you, who is supposed to be representing the American people, is doing insider trading, you should be immediately beheaded. Very dramatic, very barbaric, and will probably only ever need to be enforced once or twice for everyone to immediately fall in line. You gotta focus on people's self-preservation and instincts. A very, very stern stick can outweigh many soft carrots. Another thing, our congressmen and women are so old that government is starting to look like a retirement home. You've got these people who don't know how technology works, who have completely lost touch with the common man because they grew up in a world before internet existed. This is why I think that 2 different term limits would be very useful. The first being a maximum age term limit. You could set it to something like 50 years old or 55. That way someone could still have plenty of time to work and serve their country in government, but they don't get so old that they start literally falling over while walking around. And the second and more important of the two, arguably, would be a maximum term limit that they can actually be in government. The president is limited to only 4 years, and he is one of the most powerful figures. However, these slow, cancerous bureaucrats who just sit around 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years in government doing really not a whole lot, we need to get them out. So I say we should give them a term limit of, say, 10 years. That gives them 2.5 presidential terms that they could theoretically work through. They can still get stuff done, they can learn the job, they can make deals, but they don't get to sit there forever on the taxpayer's dime, draining us while not representing our best interests. And that would be like a maximum term. They can serve a total of 10 years. Not 10 years, they get voted in again, do another 10 years. No, nothing like that. Nextly, I believe we need higher levels of transparency for all of our government officials. I believe that if you're in Congress, in the Senate, or other high-ranking positions in government, you should lose a certain amount of privacy. That way everyone can still have trust and know that you aren't doing any shady backroom deals or accepting bribes. I believe that we should make it mandatory that all of their financial information is available to the public to see. Everything from their banking accounts, their checking accounts, their brokerage accounts, trust funds that are connected to them, businesses they own. We won't have access to any of it, but we should have the ability to watch and track every single dollar and dime that goes on in their lives. Now, this is a massive invasion of privacy if done to the average person, but like I stated before, the higher you are in the totem pole, the more responsibility you have, the less freedom that you should have. This would also allow us to see just exactly who has hold over them. Oh, did your local politician receive a check from Coca-Cola? And there's going to be a vote on new soft drink regulations next month. That's going to be a conflict of interest now, isn't it? This is going to be revolutionary for actually policing them and keeping an eye on them and making sure they aren't doing anything they shouldn't be. The next thing on the list, we need to change their pay structure. What really pissed me off during COVID was that they all gave themselves a raise. While they were shutting down everyone's businesses, locking us in our houses, demanding we take experimental drugs that have more mortality than the actual disease, they were giving themselves a pat on the back and increasing how much money they earned. What I think we need to do is we need to set it to where you get the equivalent amount of full-time employment at minimum wage for the state you represent. So let's say New York. The representatives of New York will now earn whatever minimum wage is times 40 hours a week times 50 weeks a year or 52 weeks based off of their state that they're representing. So if they don't like how much they're getting paid, well then they better start looking at ways to help increase the minimum wage of their state without causing rampant inflation. Now, I had another idea, but it completely changes the way it operates, which would be instead of directly voting someone in and they're running and they do the political ads and campaigns and all that, we have a lottery system. Every member of a state, let's say Texas, who is between the ages of 18 and whatever the maximum age is, we'll say 50, 55, will be eligible. And then at the end of the year, say December 28th, one random citizen will be elected from that pool. They'll be picked, and then that citizen will have the choice to either go to Congress and serve their country and receive the pay, or to say no, and then someone else will be picked at random. If we have it set up this way, it completely stops any major corporations from, lobbying and helping with campaign funds. But it also would have it to where once a year, people get cycled in and out. So let's say you get randomly selected in December. Then in the next December, all the voters from your state have the choice. They have one of three options. One, they vote for you to stay in the position you are currently in. Two, they vote for you to be replaced with a random choice from the state. Or three, they have a write-in ballot where they could write in the name of someone from their state that they would want as their representative. That way, people can still vote. There's still democracy, but it is completely stripped all the power out of the two-party system. It's no longer left versus right, us versus them, me versus you, Republican versus Democrat. Now it is literally anyone could get it. Luck of the draw. You could get Green Party, you could get Libertarians, you could get people who have no political affiliation at all and that just hate certain taxes. Average citizens would do a better job than these politics. And when you look at the word politic, the prefix poly means many, and tick is a blood-sucking parasite. So that can only really show you what politicians are like. But these were the ideas that were just kind of going around in my head today, and I figured I'd share them here and see what you guys have to say. Do you think some of them are too barbaric or intrusive? Or are you fully in favor and think I haven't gone far enough in rectifying the current absolute mess of the corruption in government? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.